Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. We are continuing our study with the Bhagwad Gita, the 11th chapter. We have come to the beginning part of the Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshana, where Arjuna has got the Divya Chakshu and is describing his experiences of what he's seeing. To explain this, we have Dr. Jagdish. For those who do not know, Dr. Jagdish, a very senior anesthesiologist from Bangalore with many years of anesthesia practice, an ardent Sai Baba devotee, and a great lover of the Gita. Dr. Jagdish, please go ahead.
Am I audible and the volume
Yes, sir.
adequate, sir?
Yes, sir. Very
okay,
true.
Sir. Let me go. Gurubhyo Namaha. Shloka 30, the last shloka rendered on last Wednesday, said Tadra Ekastam, that is concentrated at one place. Apashyat Deva Devasya Sharire. Arjuna could see the God of gods in the body. While sailing in my dreams, what a spectacular scene it would be. Sachin's bell had put an end to it, saying, more of it, wait for Monday. And on Thursday, when I saw Sundar had allotted Shloka 14, I felt thrilled and envious. Thrilled because I got the opening Shloka of the exciting, out of the world, spectacle narrative, but envious of the subsequent speakers because the next 17 verses, which will be rendered by my colleagues, the colorful descriptive narrative which they will give of Lord Krishna, while my shloka is only a curtain raiser, much like the titles of a magnificent movie. Well, even though we Arjunas of Kali Yuga don't have the Divya Chakshu, Swami Param very encouragingly tells us a purified mind, a mature mind, an informed mind, and a religious mind is as good. And our minuscule sadhana in that direction the last few years, with his Ashirwad, should guide us. Study of the 7th and the 9th chapter helps us to see not just Vishwam, but Vishwarupa Ishvara. For this, one needs an enlightened intellect and a pure mind. And Swami Param says, that is the Divya Chakshu. Thanks to the visual input by TV channels, we have some vision of the Vishwarupa Darshana. The first glimpse of which is in this shloka, shloka 14. The first line, Tata Dhananjaya Vismo Vishtaha, that Arjuna, Vismo Vishtaha, wonderstruck, Hrista Roma, with his hair standing on its end. Second line, Pranamya Shirasa Devam, Pranamya saluted, Shirasa Devam, with his head bent low in humility and awe. Kritanjali Abhashata. Kritanjali is the Anjali Mutra, with his palm together, Abhashata spoke. While in the television, we can hear the dada that sound, the Arjuna's face having a forward-backward close-up, and see the perspiration appearing. Swami Param's audio descriptive is no less. He explains, in Arjuna, it evoked paroxysms of delight. The vision of God, its exuberance, electrifies with a spiritual charge in the body and the mind. This elation, the Bhakti scriptures have a beautiful shloka for it. They call it Ashta Sattvika Bhava. And the shloka goes like this. Stamba Svedo Tha Romanchaha Swarabhedo Te Vipatum Vaivaranyam Ashru Pralaya Ityastu Sattvika Smritaha. Now, what does it mean? It means becoming stupefied, sweating, horripilation, choking, trembling, becoming ashen, shedding tears, and finally fainting. Is this akin to the experiences of great souls like Ramana, Vivekananda, Sri Satya Sai Baba, and many such evolved souls? I wonder. While still being eloquent of this scene, Swami Param further says, no, now he scales it down. He says, this spectacle, and he says it very Vedantically, Arjuna is not seeing a new thing. but a new perspective to an ordinary thing. It is not an extraordinary sight, but an extraordinary attitude to an ordinary world. Between the lines, should we not see it as the bridge between the Nara and the Narayana? While hypnotized, it took Arjuna a few minutes to collect himself and speak, and he says, Pashyam Devan Tava Deva Dehe. That is, I see all the gods within your body. Now, more of it is in the next sloka by Shamla. And the succeeding 17 shlokas are rapturous utterances. While this 14th shloka was just the first scene, and I see Krishna chuckling, courtesy Doordarshan, and he seems to be saying in chaste Hindi, ये तो बस शुरुआत है अर्जुना, अभी पूरा पिक्चर बाकी है दोस्त. Over to Shamla.
Thank you, Dr. Jagdish. We enjoyed listening to you. Very poetic, very descriptive. We listen to Shamala, is it?
Yeah.
Shamala, please go ahead.
Hari Om. From hereafter, Vishwarupa Varnanam by Arjuna, which is the most elaborate one. And later in the 18th chapter, Sanjaya is going to point out that I like the entire teaching of Bhagwan given in all the 18 chapters. Every aspect was wonderful, but the most wonderful one is this Vishwarupa only. Wonderstruck by the Lord's cosmic form, Arjuna bows in utter reverence. He then begins to describe that form from this sloka. Arjuna uvacha Pashyami devam stava deva dehe sarvam statha bhuta vishesha sanghan brahmanamisham kamalasanastham ऋषींश्च सर्वानुरगांश्च दिव्यान्. Arjunaha uvacha. Arjuna describes. First, he expresses the extended vision that he enjoys because of Bhagwan's blessing, because of which he is able to see all the other higher lokas also. We should remember, according to Vedic scriptures, life is not only in the Bhuloka, but there are so many other lokas where there are different types of living beings. We do not experience them because we don't have the necessary instruments of experience. Just as for seeing a 3D movie, we require a special goggle. Similarly, to experience different lokas, we require different types of body. The world that I experience will depend upon the type of body, the type of sense organs, and their limitation. Since the sense organs are limited, they can experience the world only within their range. If a person doesn't have ears, he is lacking the world of sound exists here, but for him, that 1/5 of the world doesn't exist. We should not say that part of the world is not there, but we should say, I don't have the instrument to experience. Therefore, in different lokas, different beings are described in the Shastras, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Maharloka, etc. And they all are filled with the resident celestial. And Arjuna says, by your grace, I am able to see them. And therefore, Arjuna now says, Hey Deva, O Lord, Devan Tava Dehe Pashyami, Devan Sarvan. All the celestials I am able to see. Here, Dehe means not Krishna Shariram, Vishwarupa Sharire. I see all the gods, Indra, Varuna, Ashtavasus, Rudra, Aditya. Not only that, Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan. Bhuta Vishesha means varieties of species of living being which belong to different fields of experience. That is why the word Loka is not a geographical location in our time and space. Loka means another field of experience. Lokyate anubhuyate iti lokaha. So, Sarvan Devan. Sarvan Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan. Bhuta Vishesha means varieties of living being. Sangha means multitudes I experience, and Arjuna sees them as expressions of Ishvara only. Just as in our body, millions of bacteria are there. We are all bacteria in the body of Vishwarupa Ishvara. Some of us are good bacteria and some of them are bad ones also. Sabhuta Vishesha Sanghan. Not only that, Brahmanam Isham. Isham is an adjective to Brahma. Isham Brahmanam means Lord Brahma. Kamalasa Nastham, who is seated in the Kamala. Kamala means lotus. Lotus is a symbolic expression for the creation. So, Kamalasa Nastaha. And not only that, Rushishcha Sarvan and all the Rushis, not only Rushis of the Bhuloka, Deva Rushis are also there like Narada and others. All of them I am experiencing in your Vishwarupa. Divyan Uragamscha. Uraga means reptiles. Generally they translate as snakes. All reptiles and not ordinary one. Divyan Uragan. Reptiles of the celestial world also like Vasuki, Ananta and all I am experiencing. Arjuna's statement affirms that he sees Brahman, the creator, and his creation all in the Lord's form indicates the all-pervasive nature of Brahman. We should understand that what is more important in Vishwarupa Darshanam is not seeing extraordinary things, but seeing the ordinary world itself as the Vishwarupam, body of the world, of the Lord. How we see alone assures the spiritual growth. Hari Om, thank you.
Thank you, Shamala, for a very nice explanation of this verse. Like everything, whatever you do 100%. We go to the next speaker. Diksha, your time.
Yes, doctor. Am I audible?
Doctor? Good.
Aneka bahudara vaktra netram pashyami tvam sarvato nantarupam na antam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami vishveshwara vishwarupa. Arjuna in this verse fleshes out the detailed imagery of Ishvara's cosmic form. He now sees an infinite number of forms, but his mind cannot in any way comprehend or point out what is being seen. He is only able to process parts of this image, hands, mouth, eyes, and so on, but is not able to make sense of the whole picture. The story of the blind man comes into picture here. He could only touch parts of an elephant. The blind man thought that the trunk was a rope, the ear was a sieve, and so on. But he did not realize that he was touching an elephant. When Arjuna could not figure out how the various hands, eyes, abdomens, and mouth fit together, he tried to see whether the entire cosmic form had a shape or an outline to it. As a warrior, he was trained to look at a gigantic military formation and make sense of it based on its shape. But his mind failed as there as well. He was not able to locate where that cosmic form began, where its middle was, and where it ended. All our mental functions are useless when we cannot distinguish one thing from another. Therefore, Arjuna explains this by saying, Pashyami tvam sarvato nantarupam na antam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami. I do not know the middle, end, or the beginning of the cosmos. Scientists have not found the edge of the cosmos. They are still struggling for answers. And since we have not seen the outer, inner, or the periphery of the universe, we do not know which direction the physical up or the physical down is. And if we are not aware of the beginning and the end, how can you talk about the middle? If Adi and Anta are unknown, Madhyam is also unknown. Therefore, O Lord, you are limitless. Arjuna can find no limit to the panorama manifesting before him. We may be tempted to visualize the cosmic form based on some artistic rendition of this shloka that we would have seen in our childhood, especially when we were growing up in India. Most paintings of this shloka show Sri Krishna as a tall entity with many arms, legs, and faces, but we can still see the battlefield where he is standing on. However, Sri Arjuna was completely engulfed and surrounded by this cosmic form in all three dimensions, from all three sides, as the shloka reads. It is impossible for a human to visualize and capture it accurately in a painting. Punastavadim pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa, which translates, O Lord of the universe, Vishwarupa, O Lord, whose body is the universe, your teaching will be clear. The derivation of the word Vishwarupa is the one whose body is the world itself, hence the term Vishwarupa. Arjuna uses two important words here. Vishveshwar, meaning controller of the universe, and Vishwarup, meaning universal form. He implies, O Shri Krishna, the universe is nothing but your manifestation, and you are also its supreme master. Through this shloka, Shri Krishna reveals the limitations of the mind with its tendency to chop up everything into fragments. It fails to understand Ishvara's mind, which is operating at the cosmic level. Our thoughts are limited to what we consider me and mine, but Ishvara's thoughts take the entire universe into account. Furthermore, it also indicates that all names and forms arise from Ishvara and merge back into Ishvara. Now that Arjuna is aware that Ishvara works at the cosmic form, he is able to appreciate the vast difference and diversity that there is on this planet created by him. He says, one thumb impression will not be the same as the other, and one denture or teeth alignment will not be the same as the other. The population of the world is so large, yet everyone is so unique, and each one is Vishwarupa Ishvara or Ananda Rupam. Therefore, to conclude, I see you with numerous hands, abdomens, mouth, and eyes, with infinite forms from all sides. I see no end, middle, and beginning of you, O Lord of the universe, O cosmic form. Thank you.
Thank you, Viksha, for such a wonderful and a complete presentation of this verse. Both you and Vindhya are a source of inspiration for everybody, because so few people at your age show such a committed interest in this study for so many years. We wish you all the very best and continue to keep your interest in this field. We go to Dr. Suman. Suman, your time.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Am I audible, sir?
Very clear. Go ahead.
Yeah. Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrinam Cha Tejo Rashim Sarvato Diptimantam Pashyamitvam Durniriksham Samantad Deeptanalar Kadyutim Aprameyam. So the meaning is, I see you as a mass of effulgence shining everywhere with crown, mace, and disc. I see you all around, radiant like the blazing fire and sun, blinding and immeasurable. Here, Kiritinam means you have got thousands of Kiritam. Kiritam means crown. So how come Bhagwan has thousands of crowns? It is because anything extraordinary or mystic, all the crowns in the heads of all the kings, they are all the Kiritams on the Vishwarupa, because they are all the heads of Bhagwan, and therefore all Kiritams are Bhagwan's Kiritam. Sahasra Sirsha Purushaha. Gadinam, in the battlefield, all of them have come with Gada, and therefore I see you with thousands of Gadas. Chakrinam Cha, with thousands of Chakras, Chakrayudam. And Tejo Rashim, you are a mass of effulgence. It's very obvious that the Lord consists of millions of stars. Each one is a mass of effulgence on its own. Then Sarvato Diptimantam, that means shining in all directions. Here, direction is meaningless in the cosmos. If you look from the earth, then there is an east, west, etc. This is with respect to our sun. But if hypothetically you're standing on the sun, then there is no question of what is east or what is west. All this will go haywire. All the dates will go haywire. Therefore, we have to remember that they're all imaginations by a petty mind. In Vishwarupa, all these do not exist at all. Therefore, you shine all over. Therefore, Durniriksham Samantat. So your effulgence is so dazzling, so glaring, that I'm not even able to open my eyes completely. This we can experience when we try to look at the sun during the afternoon. Even though the sun is so far away, about 9 crore miles away, it is still impossible for us to look at it directly. Therefore, Durniriksham, when the mountaineers go to the upper ranges of the mountain, it is all covered by snow everywhere, and the sun reflects, and there is such a dazzle that you have to wear special goggles, otherwise you might lose your eyesight. So that means when we are not even able to see even the pratibimba prakasham, the reflected sun, then what can we talk about the original? We have to remember that all of them are Vishwarupa. So with this attitude, we should go to Badrinath, Kedarnath, and you will see the enjoyment, get a totally different dimension. Here, Swamiji gave his own experience about when he took about 100 people to Amarnath. All of them were above 60 years. Now, going to Amarnath to see the ice lingam was at the mercy of nature. If many people visit the cave, the warmth itself might melt the lingam. So all the trouble you take to visit may become futile and you might not get the darshan. You ride a donkey to the cave. You worry that the guide may leave you alone. You worry about keeping your balance on the mule or the donkey. You worry about staying alive. And ultimately, when you reach the cave, there is no lingam. All we see is Nirguna Brahma. Instead, Swamiji chose to enjoy the whole journey, the whole 48 miles, which is one of the most wonderful Vishwarupa. People who were only concentrating on the ice lingam neither had darshan of the lingam nor had the Vishwarupa darshanam. So Swamiji says that there is a reason why these temples are at such unreachable places, not in some place which we can go very easily. Even though God is everywhere, the purpose is to gradually change the vision and to see that the very nature as Bhagwan. So here Swamiji says, Tejo Rashim Sarvato Diptimantam. This example he quoted because the last few kilometers to the Amarnath cave was only frozen snow. And when there is sunlight, then the dazzling sun could be appreciated. The Durniriksham, so dazzling that you cannot even look or see. Deeptanalar Kadyutim Aprameyam. The Lord, whose effulgence is like the effulgence of the well-kindled or blazing sun. Deeptanalam, blazing sun. Arka means the blazing sun. Deeptanalam means the blazing fire. Dyuti means effulgence. The Vishwarupa, whose effulgence is like that of the blazing fire and sun, and Aprameyam, matchless, incomparable. Such a Vishwarupa I see, O Lord. Hari Om, sir.
Thank you, Suman. Another nice explanation with the relevant examples from Swamiji's trek to Amarnath. Dr. Suman is a neurosurgeon working with us at Narayan Shraddhalaya with a special interest in functional neurosurgery like surgery for epilepsy and Parkinson's disease. We have the next person, Vinayakan, who's also a very young enthusiast from Narayana Shraddhalaya only. Vinayakan, your time.
Sri Gurubhyo Nama. So Arjuna's reverence for Lord Krishna is gradually increasing. Arjuna's appreciation of the Lord's divinity is gradually increasing. So the 18th verse goes like this. Twamaksharam paramam veditavyam twamasya vishwasya paramam nidhanam twamavyayah shashwata dharma gopta sanatanastvam purusho mado me. So Tvam Paramam Aksharam, you are the supreme imperishable one. Veditavyam, to be known. Tvam Param Nidhanam, you are the ultimate support. Asya Vishwasya, of this universe. Tvam Avyaya, you are the eternal. Shashwata Dharma Gopta, protector of the eternal Dharma. Me Mada, I regard you. Tvam Sanadana Purusha, as the eternal Purusha. This is the Pada Parijaya. We'll go to the details. So Arjuna glorifies in first line, Tvam Paramam Veditavyam Tvam Aksharam Asi. You are the imperishable and eternal God. Arjuna explains here both Saguna and Nirguna aspect. And Veditavyam, which is to be known by all. So here Sa Atma Sa Vijnaya explanation coming. Sa Atma Sa Vijnaya is the last line of 7th verse of Mandukya Upanishad. So when we say Veditavyam, one should come to Nirgunam. So Arjuna explains, therefore you are the Turiyam Brahma, Jneyam Brahma, Nirgunam Brahma, which is to be known by all. The next line says, Tvamasya Vishwasya Paramam Nidhanam. You are the ultimate basis or substratum of the entire creation. Like Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Mekhavarnam Shipangam. Then Nidhanam means Nidhyade Asmin Yasya, the support on which everything rests is called Nidhanam. Param means the ultimate. Next is Tvam Avyaya. You are the inexhaustible and unchangeable and unaffected by the onslaught of time. So Avyaya means Kalatita. So in all this, Arjuna is describing Nirgunam Brahman. Even though what he is seeing is Saguna Vishwarupa, he is describing Nirgunam Brahman here. Next line says, Shashwata Dharma Gopta. You are the one who maintains the harmony of the creation. The whole creation is governed by a set of physical laws as well as moral laws. And Lord Krishna. Lord is the maintainer of the universe through physical and moral laws. Next, Shashwata Dharma Gopta. Gopta means protector. Dharma means cosmic rhythm, cosmic harmony. And Shashwata means eternal. Therefore, and Sanadana, you are always there, ever present. Tvam Sanadana Purusha, me mata. Purusha means the all-pervading one. Being the universal form, you are everywhere. You are Sarvagada Purusha Madome. This is my understanding as per Arjuna. So, in a nutshell, you are the supreme imperishable one to be known. You are the ultimate support of the universe. You are the eternal protector of the eternal Dharma. I read you as the eternal Purusha. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vinayakan. Your presentation came out very clearly this time. Every word we could hear, including your chanting. Thank you. We go to Meenakshi. Meenakshi, please go ahead.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Verse 19. Anadimadhyantamanantaviryam anantabahum shashisuryanetram pashyami tvam deeptahutashavaktam swatejasa vishvamidam tapantam. I see you without beginning, middle or end, infinite in power, of endless arms, the sun and moon being your eyes, the burning fire your mouth, heating the whole universe with your spiritual radiance. In the previous chapter, Sri Krishna explained his presence in all things and beings in his different manifestations. In chapter 11, he provides Arjuna with a practical demonstration to show that everything exists in him only. Swami Param says the Vishwarupa Darshana depicts Kala Tattva, the Srishti, Sthiti and Laya Tattva of the Lord. Having seen this form, Arjuna's faith and understanding takes a turn. We see Arjuna full of emotions of wonder, amazement, fear, reverence, devotion, etc. To demonstrate this form, Vyasa has beautifully and artistically chosen the words and phrases. Even the meter of the shloka, which you might have noticed, takes a turn, different tune to heighten the dramatic situation and to paint the different emotions. Continuing the description of the infinite Lord, Arjuna says, Anadi Madhyantam Ananta Viryam. I see thee without beginning, middle and end, infinite in power, of infinite arms. Anadi Madhyantam means Adi Madhyanta Rahitam. Arjuna sees the Lord who doesn't seem to have any beginning, middle or end. Ananta Viryam Ananta Bahum. Arjuna says you are that infinite power, omnipotent, by which you are able to create this universe itself. And with the endless hands or arms means the Supreme Self as the dynamic life is the one essential strength behind every hand that acts and achieves. And also, hands belonging to all the people really belongs to the Lord alone. At this point, Swami Param quotes Rudram, Ayam me hasto Bhagavan. When I look at my hands, these are the hands of the Bhagavan only. Shashi Surya Netram, the sun and the moon are your eyes, which together represent the source of light energy. This only implies the oneness of the individual and the cosmic. The principle of light is the very principle in the eye. If the eyes were not there, light itself would not have any meaning. At the same time, if the principle of light were not blessing the objects, the instruments of cognition, that is the eyes, could not have functioned at all. Here we see the description of the totality. Pashyam mitvam deepta hutasha vaktram. Here, Arjuna is seeing Agni or fire as the mouth of the Lord. Here, Agni is the presiding deity of speech, that is Vak. And the other meaning is, since the mouth swallows everything, the fire principle also consumes everything, like the oblations which we give during Homam, etc. Deepta Hutasha means well-kindled fire, which has become a huge conflagration in the Lord's mouth, ready to swallow everything. Swatejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam, heating the whole universe with your spiritual radiance. The self cannot but be self-luminous because consciousness illumines all experiences at all times in all living organisms. It also imparts the warmth of life to the entire universe. It is by your radiance, Swatejasa, that the life is sustained in the world of names and forms. Arjuna is humbled by this Vishwarupa Darshana of the Lord, which is Avyayam, limitless and inexhaustible, and he prostrates with Namrata before the Lord. Sri Paramahamsa Yogananda ji, in his commentary, opines that these verses are an unparalleled ode to the universal form of spirit. Massive universes and their tiniest particles, majestic gods of nature, and the most insignificant of creatures, the shadow plays of good and evil, all hold their special place in the conformation of the cosmic image. The dual qualities of good and evil, joy and sorrow, life and death, are meant neither to hurt nor to please anybody, but to afford infinite opportunities to the Lord's children to experience the cosmic drama and by right participation to evolve to higher and higher states of wisdom and freedom. Nothing is outside of him. God declares in the Bible also, I am the Lord and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee with thy powers and attributes. Though thou hast not known me, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Thus, every human being is expected to do his duty with non-attachment and with the consciousness that he is not a hapless victim, but an intelligent agent of the one infinite being. Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Thank you, Meenakshi. Very nice and a very lucid explanation of this verse. Padma, please go ahead.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. This is verse 20. Here Arjuna, with reverence and Krutanjali, addresses Lord Krishna. Dhyavya pratibhyor idam antaram hi vyaptyam tvayekena dishascha sarvaha drishtva adbhutam rupam ugram tavedam lokatrayam pravyatitam mahatman. The space between heaven and earth, as well as all the quarters, are indeed pervaded by you alone. Having seen this wondrous and fierce form, all the three worlds are frightened, O Mahatma. This verse is the continuation of the previous verses. In Vishnu Sahasranama, it is said, Buhuf Padav Yasya Nabhir Vyada Sura Nilash Chandra Suryo Nanetre Karnavashas Shirodadhyaur Mukhamapi Dahano Yasya Vasteya Mabdihi. The entire space, Nabhihi. Nabhihi means the central portion of the Lord's body is the entire universe. Earth is the feet of the Lord and the sky is the head of the Lord. When you see the sky, you see Alankrita Neelakantaha of Ishvara, says Swami Param. The planets and stars are the diamond ornaments owned by the Lord. Because of the Divya Chaksha temporarily granted by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, Arjuna looks at the universe with a totally different perspective. Earlier, he viewed the universe as mere matter, bundle revolving. He now sees it as the live and vibrant body of the Lord. In the earlier chapter, we have seen that God is the material cause of the world, and being the material cause, the Lord himself is manifesting as the universe. Divya prithvyor idam antaram hi vyaptam. The space between heaven and earth, the complete sky, is filled and pervaded in all directions by Lord Krishna's Vishwarupa, or divine cosmic universal form. Tvayekena dishascha sarvaha. Here Arjuna says, O omnipresent Lord, you are pervading in all 10 directions. That is north, south, east, west, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, the whole earth below and the sky above. Idam drishtva adbhutam rupam tavedam. Arjuna, on seeing Lord's Vishwarupa, the Vishwarupa never seen before, was astonishingly wonderful and terribly frightening at the same time. Swami Paramatmananda says that Arjuna has also seen this fiery mouth of the Lord, which is capable of swallowing everything. We see the Lord not only as Srishti Karanam, that is creative principle which we enjoy, Sthiti Karanam, that is sustaining principle which we admire, and the third facet, Laya Karanam, that is the destroyer which we fear. Adbhutam and Ugram, wonderful and frightening. Lokatrayam, Pravyatitam, the whole world and all the three lokas, the Devas, the Asuras, the Bhuta Vishwa Sangamam, the Manushyas, the Pashu, Pakshi, etc., are frightened by this fierce avatar. Even animals have got instinctive fear of death. Arjuna says, all the living beings are shuddering in fear of you, O Lord. Why should the three lokas or the worlds fear before the universal form when they have not even seen it? Arjuna implies that everyone is functioning in the fear of God's laws. The God functions according to the law of karma. The world functions according to the law of karma. Whatever we do, we will have to reap the karmic results. Like the law of karma, there are innumerable laws in existence. Scientists discover, theorize the physical laws of nature, but they can never change the laws or visualize the God's creation. God is the supreme lawmaker, and everyone is subject to the dominion of these laws. Arjuna now realizes that the Lord is all pervading. He is not only compassionate and wonderful, but he is also full of fierceness and terror. Arjuna sees this terrible form of the Lord. He who did not want to create a ghastly war now realizes that with or without his instrumentality, the Lord has assumed this terrific form to purge the world of all evils. Namaste. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Padma. Another very nice explanation. We come to the last presentation for today. I think Mamata. Please.
How do I leave?
Not audible. You may have to come closer to the microphone.
Sir, I think she has some trouble. She is going to come back. She has left and she will come back, I think.
Shall we wait for a while?
Yeah, we'll wait, sir, because last speaker, no? Sir, Mamta has joined back, sir. I think we can ask her to speak.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead, Mamta. Can you see Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I had some hiccups. I just joined now.
No problem. Go ahead.
1 second. Okay. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Chanting the verse, Ami hitvam surasangha vishanti, kechid bhita pranjalayo grananti, swasti tyuktva maharshi siddha sanghaha, stuvantitvam stutibhiv pushkalabihi. The literal meaning of the verse is, these hosts of God are entering you indeed. Frightened, some of them pray with joint palms. Having uttered the word peace, groups of sages and siddhas praise you with complete hymns. This shloka describes how different kinds of people experience the Vishwarupa Ishvara based on their spiritual awareness as seen by Arjuna. There are three different kinds of people the shloka talks about. Firstly, the ignorant and fearful, then the seekers, and finally, the third type are the realized souls. Swami Param gives us an insight into the first type, the ignorant and fearful. This set of people are those who are completely engrossed in the material world of names and forms. They have very little or no awareness of presence of Ishvara in everything, and they are engrossed in samsara, which prevents them from the freedom of raga, shoka, and moha, that is attachment, grief, and delusions. The second line of shloka talks about this type of ignorant and fearful people, where fear is their main motivator. It says they approach the Lord by joining the palms, which is also called as Anjali Mudra. The Vishwarupa Ishvara is invoking fear in this set of people. Going further, Swami Param explains how even religion is born out of fear for them. Swamiji quotes a few examples. If someone is doing puja, it is very difficult to drop it because we are scared that God will punish us. This is taught to our children as well. We do Deeparadhana to all the photos in the puja room because we fear if we miss out any, then the particular God will not be happy. People even chant mantras before sleeping and other times to get out of fear. For this set of people, fear is main motivator to be in the dharmic path. The second set of people are the seekers. They are the mature ones who are on the path of wisdom-based appreciation. The first line of the shloka refers to this set of people, the seekers, who are otherwise called the devas, a group of gods, Bhagavan's devotees, who are taking on sadhana like sadhana chatushchaya sampatti to seek their higher self, who are relatively enlightened and they have understood Bhagavan's destruction is dharmic or constructive destruction. Hence, the Vishwarupa is not frightening for them. They understand that maturity is required to face death or to face destruction. And the Devas being mature, they approach Bhagavan or their perception of the Vishwarupa Ishvara with a different attitude of prayers coupled with knowledge. Finally, the third set of people are the realized souls. The third line of the shloka refers to these realized souls who are the rishis and siddhaha. Siddhaha means great rishis who have great miraculous powers. These rishis and siddhahas are enlightened ones and they are the ones who are one with the Lord. When they approach Vishwarupa Ishvara, they chant or declare aloud that let there be auspiciousness to the world. This is very relevant to the current scenario of the Mahabharata war. In the event that this war were to happen, the rishis are chanting aloud for Swasti or Mangalam, the protection of the good, and Amangalam, the destruction of evil. They are also glorifying and praising the Lord with hymns and prayers which talk about the glories of the Lord. In conclusion, this shloka is a description of the different attitudes of people towards the Vishwarupa Ishvara. This Vishwarupa Ishvara is perceived as fear in some people, devotion in others, and finally, people who are one with the Lord, the Vishwarupa Bhaktas, truly understand the nature of this whole universe and creation as a manifestation of Ishvara. Thank you.
Thank you, Gita, for giving us a nice explanation of this verse. And thanks to all the speakers. And I'm so glad that we didn't have any major technical hitches. All the audios came out very clearly. We conclude today's class with Om Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you, sir.